There's a light on in the kitchen and a cold beer in the fridge. One light over the front door shining on the welcome mat. The stars are bright, they look close enough to touch. The fireflies are out tonight, so let them light the way. Cause there's a house, a country house.
All right, and we're live.
What's going on? Ray Luna.
And George Villa. This
Yes,
is the first
sir.
episode of our podcast.
Is it our podcast or your podcast?
It's ours now, man.
You got to put my name in the title.
All right. Yeah.
You have
this
a name?
was when I was solo. Nah, I don't have no name, man. I'm just trying to, I had a few of them. If it was us and we were doing like sports related stuff, I told you it was going to be the pro and then I'm the average Joe, you know? But I almost feel like I want to touch on everything. Like, I don't want it to be limited to just sports, you know? But,
So you said you have questions for me, but we'll open it up. I got one for you.
all right,
If
cool.
you could interview one person, dead or alive, who are you interviewing?
Man, that's tough.
You had a magic wand and you could just get them here in front of you.
Might be crazy,
Dead
but
or alive?
well, alive. It's gonna have to be somebody alive. I'm thinking Obama, man. To be honest.
Obama?
Yeah. Yeah.
What about him? That intrigues
there's
you.
some questions I want to ask him, like, how was it coming up as a minority? And I think he's well accomplished.
Yeah.
It's no secret. I don't know, man. Maybe he can give us the inside scoop of what it's like being the president. How much do they pay him? And I don't mean how much is his annual salary. You know, how much do they
That's public.
slide in the envelope and say, hey, pass this or put this on the table. And yeah, man. If I was trying to be controversial, then I would say Trump for the clicks.
For
But I don't know,
me,
man. Something
dead
about
or
the way he
alive,
talks.
Genghis Khan or somebody like that, or Marcus Aurelius, like the Emperor of Rome. Somebody who, just to get in their mind, like, what was it running half of the world, you know? Or Abraham Lincoln, and just kind of see how they thought, their thought process, or one of the founding fathers. You know?
They call him Honest Abe, so maybe you can ask him anything and he'll answer it.
One of the founding fathers, I would ask him, I'd be like, so what did you mean by shall not be infringed? I'll be recording up.
That's a rabbit hole we'll get into.
Yeah.
But no, if we got into that, it'll unlock a whole new audience. There's definitely an audience for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't know. Maybe we should start off by telling a little bit about ourselves. We know each other because we met through work. I probably won't go into too much details about work, but yeah, that's how we know each other. That's how we're comfortable around each other already. So to me, that made sense.
I feel like I'm at work right now because we're always on a Zoom.
Yeah. The funny thing
Teams
is,
chat.
The other day when we jumped on a call and I was home, my fiance said, like, do you have to have cameras on? I'm like, no, I think we're just so used to each other. And then I think that's kind of like the change of things when we change from one, we'll say, company to another, that was kind of something they implemented and we were just so used to it. So I told her that. I was like, no, I think we're just so used to it and so comfortable. Like, I don't think I have my camera on with everybody.
Yeah. I think that really blew up during COVID. Because before that, I don't know how mainstream it was, but remote work, everybody, like the stock of Zoom.
Yeah.
Their stock exploded during COVID. A ton. I'd have to look back exactly like how much it's changed, but they exploded.
Yeah. See, and I think thinking about it from like the school aspect, because I was taking like a class and stuff like that. I remember that Zoom being really big because there was no in-person classes. But as far as like the workforce, like during COVID, I was boots on the ground, so I wasn't doing much meetings or Zoom or anything like that. So it was kind of irrelevant to me at the time. What?
Introductions. Who's Ray Luna? If I was your, so if I asked one of your friends in high school, who's Ray? What would they say?
Man, I'll
He's a
tell you one
nice
thing.
guy. He's a sweetheart of a guy. He's a class clown. He's a jock.
Nah, man, I think you would have to ask two different people. You'd have to ask somebody from high school and somebody in my current life now, because I think I'm two different people.
I get two different answers.
Yeah, man, you would. And depending who you ask, you'll get multiple answers. Some might say that I'm quiet. Some might say that I'm a jerk. And then other people might say that it's hard to not laugh around me. So, I mean, it's multiple people. High school, I was probably more of the class clown, the just show up to class and be a knucklehead kind of person.
That's the thing is like, you're never the same person around everybody, whether you admit it or not. When you're talking to somebody from work, you're a certain way. Whenever you're talking with your significant other, you're a different way. Whenever you're talking to a niece or a nephew, it's a different, you put on these different, not,
And I
I don't want to say
think,
personas, but you just kind of change, you're wearing different hats
and I
with who
think
you're
that
talking
that's
to.
what makes our team's dynamic pretty unique, is because I'm not 100% the person I am outside of work with you guys, but I'm probably as close to it as I've been with anybody at work.
Yeah.
Um, Unfortunately, sometimes I'll slip up and say a little slang like, "Oh man, this fool did this," and like no one looks at me and they're like, "Oh my god, what's wrong with this guy?"
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's what's good is, I mean, I'm comfortable, but yeah, I even I even tell some of my family, like the ones I'm close to, like even around my fiance's family, like, I'm kind of like a little quiet and reserved, like, or I'll joke around, but I'm just not as inappropriate because they're very traditional. Unlike,
Yeah.
some people in my family, they're very, very inappropriate.
Yeah.
And that's just how we were. Just fun.
That's how it goes.
But yeah, man, you'll get definitely multiple answers depending who you ask. I mean, like I said, I'm glad I'm not that young, dumb kid I was in high school, but also, that kind of helped me build some great relationships, few of them that I still have today. So,
Nice.
but yeah,
I
man,
don't talk to anybody from high school. I have
really.
them on like social media, but text basis, phone call, hanging out, zero. And I like it that way. It's the way it goes. Especially I left my hometown for 2 weeks after graduating high school. So I didn't there was no summer after high school hanging out, first time at the bar with your friends. It's a little different.
Yeah, I think for me, not to get too into my upbringing, but my parents were separated. So, I mean, I had friends that I grew up with at my dad's house and then my high school friends. And from both those friends, there's literally like one person that I still text every now and then. And then my other homie who lives in another state, and every now and then we'll just text each other, just talk mess to each other, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So I tell people that are younger, like, I'm never gonna try to discourage people from making friends, but you know, for me, I'm not. It's hard to explain, man. I'm about loyalty, but it's like to a certain extent. Like, chances are, this person that you met in high school, you're probably not gonna talk to them in 10 years from now. I
That's
mean,
true.
might
That's
be a
true, but
unicorn.
people are meant for different stages of your life. They're not meant to be in your life permanently. And
Yep.
you got to be okay with that. Like, this relationship is for this stage of my life. And then you got to You got to be okay
Damn.
with
So
moving
what you're
on.
telling me is I'm only around for a little while and you're gonna replace me after. That's what you're telling me, huh?
That's not what I'm telling you.
I got you.
What I'm telling you is I've had friends who, I don't know, you think you guys are going to be boys forever. I mean, if we were to hit each other up, like I'll text them right back, break bread, talk shop, but people move on in their lives, and they got their own lives going on. You got to be okay with that. Some people aren't, but I think most people inherently understand that for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've had friends, man, that I've thought were family, and me telling them certain things because of the crowd they were around. I didn't realize like it was gonna take effect to my life, and I told them, I told one person in particular, I said, "Man, God has a funny way of like removing people from your life," and what I meant to him by that was, if they're not meant to be in your life, they're gonna be like this person was trying to better himself and stop doing knucklehead stuff. And then
Mhm.
he was kind of getting like backlash from the group he was hanging with. And I'm like, man, trust me, like, you don't have to cut them off because if you better yourself, they're going to push themselves away from you. And it
Yeah.
ended up happening.
Yeah, some people are just dead weight, especially when you're at a stage where you're ready to graduate and move on to the next level. You got to be okay cutting people off. I'm super okay with cutting people off. Like, uh, that's a good example. Like, even family members, like, who I haven't spoken to in a couple years, I got no problem. Like, we're just like cousins, for example. Like, oh, we're just cousins. Like, it's what you don't want to reach out. That's cool. I I understand we each got our own lives and like there's no problems. It's just you got your life, I got mine, and we're building,
Yep.
you know?
Yeah. And I think we're definitely alike in that aspect. I mean, it's not something to brag about, but I mean, I think the closest ones to me know that I keep people around because I want them, not because I need them. And hey, man, I'm okay if we go months without talking.
Yeah. But at the same note, friends are good to have. Friends are good. They're fun. Like somebody you look forward to hanging out with, enjoying their company. It's good to have that. Because if you're just lonely all the time, you're not hanging out with nobody, that could be a road to wrong places.
I don't know, man. I tell my girl all the time I'm my own best friend.
Yeah.
But I wanted to touch on something that you mentioned. You left 2 weeks after high school.
Mhm.
What made you leave your hometown after 2 weeks after high school? Because I'm thinking about that. 18 years old,
Yeah.
got the whole world in front of you. Why a big change like that?
So I knew I was going to join the Marines sophomore year. 100%. I was like, that's 100% what I'm doing. And why? Honestly, well, one, because I thought the Marines were badass. I was like, dude, I probably saw a commercial. I was like, that's badass. Freaking motivated to the T. It's like, this is it. We're doing it. Joined the DEP program as soon as I could. And yeah, that's really the main reason why I joined. One, because there was no other option for me. Like, I didn't have an option to go to college, or it was either go to the Marines or just find some job in Bakersfield, California, stay there, stay home, and figure it out. But I was like, nah, I'm going my own route. And yeah, I was freaking gung ho.
Hey, let me find out. You saw that video of the Marine in his dress blues. He holds out his
Oh
hand.
no. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, man, that's interesting. The Marine Corps. Huh?
Yeah, dude,
So how long you spend
I
in the
would have
Marine Corps?
left. I would have left a year early if I
A
could.
year early?
If I could have. Obviously, you have to graduate first, but I was motivated. I was ready to get out of Bakersfield and
And
just hit the road.
I guess for me that kind of speaks a lot. Like I said, we know each other on a personal level, so I mean, I kind of see how motivated you are. But to know at what 16 years old, do you already know what you want to do in the future? That I don't know. That kind of says something because
Well,
I can't think of what I was even thinking at 16, let alone 17, 18.
right. And I'm not saying I was insane. I just, and I knew where I was going, not what I was going to do because I'm not in the Marines anymore, but I knew where I was going. I knew that's was my next 5 moves was join the Marines and just kick it off from there. And then that motivation we're talking about, it's, I think every Marine who joins the Marines before they join were 100% gung ho motivated, just how I was. Like 90% of people who join are freaking motivated before. And then somewhere along the cycle, maybe after they graduate boot camp, they go to the school, they hit the fleet, they lose that motivation. And that motivation turns into resentment, turns into, what do you call it? Saltiness. And they just get
Yeah,
tired of it. And they're like, man, I can't wait to get out of the Marines. And I was in that boat.
you were
After
in that
like
boat.
yes, after a year, I remember the exact day. So I'm like getting messed up on the flight line because I did aviation ordnance. So we loaded the F-18 platforms with ordnance, rounds, bombs, and you're outside all day, 12-hour shifts a lot of the time. And I remember I was carrying, chaff and flare, like on jets.
I don't.
Chaff and flare is like if somebody's shooting a rocket at a jet,
Ah, okay,
they
okay.
they pop the flares and the rocket goes to the flares and the jet escapes.
Yep.
And they come in like a big box for one of them. And I was carrying 4 of them. I had one under my arm. I was carrying one with one hand, one under this arm, and one at this hand. And they're heavy when they're fully loaded. And I'm just walking across this flight line, like far, like a couple football fields. And it's hot. And I was just like, I'm tired of this shit. I cannot be doing this forever, dude. Oh my God. And another thing too that causes that is the leadership. Like, imagine you had a boss who was just a complete a-hole to you. His main mission is to make your life hell. And unfortunately, a lot of leaders are like that, especially in the military. And it kills a lot of guys. That's why retention is so low. That's why there's a lot of people don't re-enlist. It's very rare.
So I, they
Yeah.
be handing out those nice bonuses or what?
That's why there's recruiting issues, retention. That's why everybody in the military is like, I can't wait to get out because it's just a toxic work environment. And that's the same thing happened to me. I was motivated, dude. Like, if in high school, I probably would have told you, like, I'm going to do 20 years. Boom. And that changed real quick. So, yeah.
I guess that's the inside scoop not everyone gets because
Yeah. That's the
you
that's
know
the
looking
long
from
answer to why I joined.
looking for I mean why you joined, and my question was what I had a later question was what made you get out, and I mean we got that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's like I said, for me, I've always looked at it from the outside in, and it's for the most part. I guess maybe I've never had a deep conversation like that with people, or I've been around people who've been fortunate enough to only be exposed to the good side of it, so they have nothing but great things to say. But
No kidding. Because you know a lot of people that are in the military.
I mean, like I said, maybe that was just hate to say me not giving a shit, but me not giving a shit and not asking, hey, what's up, bro? How was your day? Like I said, I have one buddy that he kind of would talk more about the change in things. Like, yeah, he was that Marine that, hey, I shot with iron sights kind of person. Like, so it was always like, oh man, these dudes nowadays are kind of like, they're cut from a different cloth.
Is
That
he
was
is he
the
still in?
no, he got out. Man, I don't remember.
A couple years
Probably,
ago, a while ago.
yeah, probably. I want to say Trump's first term, he got out.
So let me tell you this. So remember that cycle I was talking to you about where you're super motivated before you get in,
Yeah,
and then you get in, you lose the motivation. and then you get out, and that pride kind of comes back because you're past it, and you kind of make a full circle. You hate it when you're in, you're motivated before, and then when you get out, you're like, yeah, I was in the Marines, best branch, and you kind of have that pride again, like I did that. But while you're in, you're like, man, F this place, I don't recommend it. But then once you get out, I'd recommend it 100% for people, especially if you don't know what you want to do. So it's like a full cycle.
Yeah, that's funny. Like I said, man, I've always seen it from the outside looking in, and I'm not gonna say that I'm the most squared away person in life or even physically, but
Nobody is.
if I'm looking from the outside in and say, man, this dude looks like a hot bag of ass, then there's probably something wrong. But yeah, man, it's like I said, maybe it's the lack of experience in it, like you did firsthand, and you know, the everyday grind is what kind of like gets people.
And it wasn't just my experience because I could call 20 people right now live, and 15 out of 20 will agree with me that they had a horrible experience while they were in. They were probably motivated before they got in, and they were probably happy as hell to get out.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, man, it's interesting to hear your perspective on it. Obviously, you're somebody who I respect and trust their opinion. I mean, you've never shown me any reason why not to believe you, or I mean, you've always been squared away, even when it comes to work. But it's like the few things that I've seen, like, and mind you, this was, man, I want to say like 10 years ago, probably. Um, there was this dude I knew. I didn't know him personally. I met him through somebody, and he was just bashing the Marine Corps. Well, he was in his camis and everything, and the first thing somebody said is, "Are those Nike socks that you're wearing in your uniform?" And kind of made me think like, man, maybe this dude was bringing this on himself because like he was like bashing his leadership. So then like one of the guys said like, "Are those Nike socks that you're wearing?" And to me, I was like, man, I'm not gonna speak on it because I don't know. But in my head, I was like, I wonder if he's like not wearing the right uniform. That's why they're chewing him out.
Yeah, definitely not authorized. And it sounds like I'm bashing on the Marines, and I
Yeah, it does,
100%
man.
am, and I
It
am.
does.
But on the same note, I would 100% recommend it. If I'm talking to a 17-year-old and he doesn't know what he wants to do when he graduates, I would 100% say go to the Marines. And yeah, because it's definitely changed my life 100%. You know, if I didn't go to the Marines when I did, I'd probably still be in Bakersfield right now, managing a Burger King or I don't know. Like I'd probably be working at a gym or something.
Hopefully
Who knows?
managing.
Huh?
I said hopefully managing.
Yeah, but I don't regret joining either. So with all that bad stuff I'm talking about, that was probably like 60% of my experience. The other 40% were amazing times. I had some of the best times while I was in also. Met some of the coolest people. And then yeah, just it's definitely changed my trajectory.
Yeah, and I mean, that, I can imagine because I mean that's the workforce in general. Like even I'm sure even Google, you'll meet somebody there. That, even though people love it, he probably had a bad experience. Like yeah, I mean, even though you're bashing on him, I know what you mean.
It's like bashing with love.
Yeah,
you know. I
yeah,
still
man.
have on my wall in my room the freaking plaque I got when I got out. That's not pride. It's like, yeah, I'll still represent it. I'll still say it with pride and all that. Um, and I still enjoyed it too, and I would still do it again 10 times over. So
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's definitely sets it in your bio when you're introducing yourself. So
yeah.
hopefully, if anybody hears this, they know that you're saying it with love, man.
And
There's a
then
love
when
hate.
we're talking about getting out, also another reason why I got out, I was boxing while I was in the Marines. I started boxing with like 2 years into the Marines, so I was probably like 20 years old when I started, which is kind of late when it comes to boxing. And I was boxing professionally. and I wanted to turn professional. I wanted to turn pro. So I got out and yeah, had my first fight a couple months after getting out.
And that wasn't something that you would be able to maintain while you were in the military, or you just
No, because
decided?
I was training with the coach here local, and he's a sick coach. Awesome coach, really good. And that coach and fighter relationship is really important. And yeah, that's something I was obsessed about with I was obsessed with boxing, absolutely obsessed. And I was like, I have to freaking at least once get in the ring and test myself.
So you're not that average what they call it, a casual who sits here on the couch like me and says, "Man, what was this guy doing? He should be letting his hands go." You're not that guy.
No, I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say I was the most experienced fighter. I only had one amateur fight, and in the world of boxing, before you turn pro, you need to have
Like 100.
a lot of amateur experience. Most professional boxers, they've been fighting since they were like, 10 years old, 8 years old, some even younger, and they turn pro. And those are the guys that can actually make money from boxing. And then the reason why I stopped boxing because I was like, all right, I got to start making a decision. Am I going to stay boxing, kind of wasting my time, and nothing's guaranteed in boxing either, or am I going to start focusing on other areas? And that's what I chose.
Oh man, with social media nowadays, get you one of those influencer fights.
Yeah, but that's not me.
I
That's
mean,
not me.
hey, pay me to take a dive any day. The money's
Yeah,
right. I'll gladly take a dive.
that's the thing. I had 3 professional fights. Um, 6 days a week you're training. You're 24/7 taking up your life, and I got paid $0. If anything, I paid money to get on the card. That's what behind the scenes of boxing, really shady. Promoters, they'll charge fighters to be on their cards, especially when you don't have a name. They're not gonna just let you fight on their cards. They're gonna be like, all right, give me $1,000 and we'll find you an opponent. We'll get you on the promotions, the weigh-ins. We'll get you some interviews, and then boom, you start building up a name for yourself. But you gotta pay, and that's in Mexico. In the U.S., it's a little different, but you know,
Yeah, I guess that's
it's
the grind that people don't see. Like they just see, man, I won't say no names, but they see like these dudes out here making millions, and uh it's like, man, it must be nice to be that person. Well, you didn't see, like you said, 6 days a week putting in your own money and not getting paid for it. Like
yeah.
that's
Boxing's
dedication right there.
expensive. You gotta buy gloves, the equipment, the training, and then when it comes to fight night, you gotta. I spent $1,000 on my like custom made short. I didn't have to, but we gotta fight in style now. Come on, and so we had custom made shorts, the the jacket, um, traveling. I fought in Cancun, TJ. That's flights, hotels, food. I was like, nah, I can't keep doing this, man. I'm trying to grow, not deduce, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah. No, I hear you.
that's me in a nutshell. That's my overwinded introduction.
Hey, man, I'm all for it, man. I love it. I love it. A lot to talk about there. Man, what was I going to ask you? I was going to ask you about the military, the Marine Corps. And I think we talked about this before. What is one skill set that they taught you that you would like everybody to know? Civilian, everybody.
It's a good question. Mm, I don't know if it's a skill set, but the Marine Corps is really good at putting you outside of your comfort zone on purpose by force. They force you outside of your comfort zone and expect you to perform. And if you don't perform, there's consequences. And that's good. People need that. Sometimes people are too brittle and they'll they'll be hesitant. And the Marines, they'll be like, hey, Lance Corporal, you're going to go take the meeting where all the other departments are going to be in a circle and you got to speak out about your department and you're gonna go take it, and you're gonna come back to the shop with all your coworkers, and you're gonna debrief everybody on what was discussed at the meeting. You're gonna say the plan of the day, and you're gonna be in charge of making it happen. As a 19-year-old kid, they make you go do stuff like that, and that kind of builds you up. So I think the one skill set would be being put out of your comfort zone and performing.
That's no, that's good. And I'm thinking how that translates to the real world. Um, not that the Marine
Confidence,
Corps, not that the Marine
leadership,
Corps isn't the real world, because it definitely is. But as far as the working force,
the
like
Civ Div, Civ Div 1.
yeah, we had a and offline. I'll tell you who it is, but we had a manager who used to make us do presentations. And man, I'm not gonna lie. In the beginning, I thought they were lame. I hated it because part of it was you have to talk about yourself, and especially where I was at over there, I was the probably most private person they can meet. I had somebody who I considered a friend there. We had gone out in the past all together in group settings and stuff, and one time I had mentioned something about my fiance, or at the time she was my girlfriend, and he said, "You got a girlfriend?" I said, "Yeah, man. Been in a relationship for probably a year and a half." And he's like, "Man, you are definitely the most private person I met. Like, as much as we talk, I've never." I'm like, it is what it is. But long story short, this dude was always making us do presentations and stuff, and he would tell us, "Hey, who's your favorite actor and why? Tell me about a time that you did this and stuff." And you had to do this in front of your peers and all this stuff in a group setting. Um, Later down the line, when I ended up becoming, who I am now, or the position we are in now, jumping on these meetings and, talking to these directors and stuff was kind of, I wouldn't say easy, but it was not as nerve wracking because that experience he made us go through, like stepping out of our comfort zone. Like when it came to talking in front of these people or talking even with cameras on, it came natural,
And you
and I
draw
think,
back from that experience, right?
and yeah, and even credit to the person that we report to now. He, very first, man, I want to say it was my second day. He, threw me into the fire. Said, here's the notes. You're running the call. Any questions they ask, you're going to be the one answering it, and speak to it like you own it. Because this is your business. This is your book of business, and you need to master it. It's like, here, I helped you with the notes. Now you got to go out there and do it yourself. Like, all right, man.
And you can't be shy, huh? When you're speaking on those calls, you can't be like, I
No,
don't
man,
know
because
about that.
I've heard dudes get eaten alive because of that. We had an old director. He was asking one of our counterparts, like, "Hey, how come there's so much overtime, and how come there's so much non-billable overtime? Why is this person out on leave? Why was this time off request approved?" Like things like this, right? And the guy was saying, "Uh, I think this person." Oh, and I think this person. He just kept saying, "I think," and he in front of everybody say, "You think? What do you mean you think? Aren't you the manager? Like, don't you know what's going on in your book of business?" And I was like, "Oh shoot, this is what they told me about. This is why you own it." And that was
Even
kind
if
of
you
like,
don't have an answer, you have to be able to articulate why you don't have an answer, you know? Because
yeah,
nobody has the answer for everything, but you got to be able to say, you know what? I know how to find that answer, and I'll get back to you as soon as I find out.
yeah, and that man, that's crazy. I like that you said that, stepping out of your comfort zone, because takes me back to something my brother told me at a young age, man, and I'm talking about like high school level. It was a quote. It said, "The more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war." And I've
Yeah,
kind of always took that to heart. Like,
that's Sun Tzu who said that.
yeah, man. And I'm telling you, he told me this in freaking, was he in the Marine Corps yet? No, I think we were in high school still when he told me that. He was just like playing sports and just spit some free game to me.
It's true. It's a true quote.
Yeah, man. Shout out to him.
Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's what I would say. Everybody, You know, especially if you don't have anybody to put you outside of your comfort zone. And if you're not willing to do it yourself, kind of cooked.
Yeah, I think it's just, and speaking from experience, man, I haven't always been that person, but I think it's just it's easier, man, to stay in your little shell, to stay in your turtle shell and not be exposed to the world, you know. And I think sometimes as humans we take the easy route out, you know.
Yeah,
But
most definitely.
it's all about stepping out your comfort zone. So
That was
what
boxing too. Boxing really put me outside my comfort zone. You know, when you have family and friends at an event that you're supposed to be fighting at, all your training that you spent months dedicating yourself to, and you're just like, I could just get slept today. Like it could go all bad, and I still got to go out there and keep calm, composed, and trust the process.
you got to
You
put your
know?
poker face on, man.
Yeah.
So with the one thing that the Marine Corps taught you and you'd like everybody to know, what is one thing that you wish, like one thing they didn't teach you that you wish you had known while you were in?
Go to medical.
Go to medical.
Go to medical. Um,
I always hear
Obviously,
that, man.
the stigma in the military. I didn't go once to medical in 4 years because if you go to medical, you're a fill in the blank, and then when the time comes to get out and you're doing paperwork for certain stuff and you don't got nothing documented, doesn't help you out. Outside of that, what is something I wish? You know, don't know. Don't know.
It's interesting that you said go to medical because there's this podcast out there. It's pretty big, you know. Um, but he talks about how every veteran that he has had on his podcast, there has not been a single one that does not get disability.
I've seen that
Um,
guy. I've seen him.
yeah, and I think that's him. And this is not me speaking from experience, just from hearing other people or talking to other people. And I think he doesn't realize like the toll, I guess, it puts on your body.
Here's the way I've seen it be put. When you join the military, they're receiving you at 100%. You're at 100%, you're prime. And then when you leave, that 100% maybe goes down to 90, 95, 87%. And so with that whole system, I think they are, what do you call it? They're compensating you for that difference from 100% to that 90, whatever you got out as,
Yeah.
they're compensating you for that difference. Because you do leave with your whatever it is, you know? You're not the same when you get in when you got out. 100%. But I have another answer for that question. What do I wish somebody had told me when I got in? Save your money. Save your money. Because when I was in the Marines, I was paycheck to paycheck every 2 weeks. Sometimes the last couple days before we got paid, I was like, I don't got it. Like, I got to go to the chow hall like 3 times a day because it was rough out there. And a lot of people think about it. You're 18, you spent 18 years, maybe you had a high school job, whatever, and then you start getting steady checks every 2 weeks. You're going to blow it. You know, you're 18,
Yeah.
19, 21, you're blowing every single dollar you got for the weekend. And that's BS, you know? They need to start teaching people financial education. And really, it should start before adulthood. It should start in
Oh yeah,
school,
should
but
start in
it's
school.
not.
I was just telling my fiance that I'm like, man, I don't ever remember in school like uh learning anything about that. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and for me, I try to tell people that are younger than me that I've learned the hard way. Like, look, man, you know, go this route because last thing you want to do is this. Like, even about credit, I would be like, Man, I don't remember being, unless I just was a shitty student. I didn't pay attention to any of that, but I
They
don't
don't
remember
teach
any of
it.
that stuff.
A 16, 17-year-old who's literally about to join the workforce, they could tell you what a hypotenuse is. They could tell you what pi means, but they can't tell you what dividends means. They can't tell you what interest rates means. How do interest rates affect the economy? They don't know none of that, but they know what a pi is or a hypotenuse. I've never used that in my life, not
Yeah.
once. So definitely, that needs to start being mainstream for sure.
So if I'm a young Marine, you're telling me you wouldn't recommend for me to go to the lemon lot, get a car out there with freaking 30% interest,
100%.
go out there and get me a brand new Charger, park it in the barracks parking. It's not
Here's
gonna
what's
be here.
cool about some Marine leadership that you don't see in the civilian world is like a sergeant could tell a PFC or something who just bought a car. He could bring him in and be like, "Hey, look, how much did you pay for your car? What's the interest rate? Let me see your bank account." They'll tell you that, and they'll be like, "Okay, you know what? When Monday comes, because I know it's Saturday right now, we're gonna go back to the dealership. We're gonna turn back in your car. You're not taking this car, and we're gonna find you a vehicle that's right for you. But you're not getting 16%. Like they could do that in the civilian world. Your boss can't say, "How's your money?" Like, nah. But you'll find some gems like that in the Marines. Like some guys that are just stand up, solid guys, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I've never heard of it from that aspect where they're like taking the initiative and looking out for them. I've heard of it like they're giving them counseling because they're so financially screwed.
Yeah. Because
Um,
that's their job as a sergeant is like take care of your people. That's your PFC. That's your Lance Corporal. Take care of them. Show them. You know? They're kind of like a big brother in a sense.
I don't know, man. We're gonna have to get some leadership on here one day so they can talk about their experience.
Yeah. Some brass.
Yeah, man. See if get some people I know on here, or maybe you got some people you know get on here one day, tell some good stories.
Oh yeah. Yeah. What else we got?
Man, you know what? Man, what was I gonna say? Oh, what was the transition like getting out
Scary.
to civilian? Did they
Scary.
like prep you for it? Was there any schooling or any classes like, hey, this is what you need to know when you get out?
So there's classes and they're pretty good, but at the end of the day, you still got to figure it out. You know? When I got out of the Marines, I slept at my friend's house who was I knew from the boxing gym for about 2 weeks because I didn't know how to buy an apartment. I didn't know I could buy an apartment, and I put my first month and last month deposit for an apartment on a credit card because I didn't have the cash. And I think eventually there's a retirement system. What is it called? It's like a Roth IRA, but for the military side. I had to withdraw it 10% penalty or something just to have
Was it like
cash.
a 401k or what?
It was like a 401k. I forgot what they call it in the Marines, but I had to withdraw it. And yeah, dude, you kind of just got to figure it out. It's kind of scary getting out, especially when you don't have a plan. And most people, they get out and they try to do the same thing they were doing when they were in. Like, I know a lot of guys who went into the civilian side doing the same job in the military on the civilian sector, like working on jets and stuff for Lockheed Martin and those big companies. I didn't want to do that. I was like, I'm done with the flight line. It's like mechanic work and wasn't for me, you know. So I kind of got in where I fit in, and try to be try to just constantly improve wherever I found myself, you know. My first apartment was a 1 bedroom studio, and my mom lived with me for a couple months, maybe even like a year, in a 1 bedroom studio. She slept in the living room. Good times.
Yeah, man. Good times.
Yeah, because you're just trying to figure shit out, you know? And yeah, it is. A lot of people struggle with getting out the Marines because it's kind of like graduating high school again. You got to find your direction, your path, your purpose. Like, what are you going to do all over again? So,
Yeah, I think I've met a few people that they and maybe that was a question I should have asked them. Like, what made them? I guess they found their identity when they were in. And mind you, it's been a select few that I've met. That one of them, he was proud as heck to be a Marine, but he did not want that to solely define who he was as a person. You know, he would always say, "Yeah, man. I mean, I'll probably be that 60-year-old vet saying, you know, the Marine Corps this, the Marine Corps that, but I don't want that to solely be who I am." You know, so I think he was fortunate enough to find his identity while he was there.
yeah.
But you know, let's say I'm a young Marine getting out. What would your advice be to me?
So if I'm his superior, I'll say, "Come here, let's talk." I'll sit him down, kneecap to kneecap, and I'll just straight up ask him, "How much money you have? How much is in your
Nothing.
bank? How much is
Nothing.
in your bank? Nothing, dude. You get out in 2 months. What's your plan?" So I'd ask him, "What's your plan? Okay, so you're going back home to your parents' house? Is that why you left, to just go back home? You can't re-enlist now, so we got to figure something out. Do you have a job lined up? No? Do you have a resume? Let me see your resume." Pulls out his resume. "This is trash. We're going to make you a freaking resume. I want you to start applying to 10 jobs a day. At the end of every day at work, you're going to show me the jobs you applied for." And then kind of get the ball rolling. Kind of forcing them like, "Dude, start applying to jobs. Start saving your freaking money. What are you spending your money on?" And just trying to set them up for success, because that's why a lot of vets become homeless, you know, because they don't have a plan. And a lot of Marines, too, they stay in because they don't know what they want to do when they get out. That's why a lot of guys re-enlist, too. They just don't
Yeah.
admit it. They'll just be like, "Oh, dude, I got orders to Hawaii. I'm re-enlisting. They offered it to me." "Yeah, dummy, because you were going to get out and they want to keep you." So, yeah. But yeah, getting out's scary, man, because you need to have a plan, and a lot of people don't. I
Yeah.
didn't. So,
Yeah, man. I mean, say everybody, not everybody has a plan, man. You ask me, how old were you when you got out? 22?
yep, 22.
Ask me at 22 what my plan was. I was probably just trying to get by,
Yeah.
trying to make more money tomorrow than I did today.
Shameless plug. I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Celsius. Go ahead. If you go to your nearest 7-Eleven, if you buy 2, you get 1 free.
And shout out to wasn't there some alcohol in some?
Don Julio.
Shout out to them, man. I wish I'd have picked me up a couple.
That's what I've been drinking. Nah.
All right, man. I think it was a good first episode. But
Yes, sir.
appreciate
Let
it,
me
man.
know how the numbers do.
Yeah,
Nah.
oh man. I can't count that high, so luckily this could count for us.
Yeah. You know what I'm about to
There's a light on in the kitchen and a cold beer in the fridge. One light over the front door shining on the welcome mat. The stars are bright, they look close enough to touch. The fireflies are out tonight, so let them light the